So I told myself I would not make this video because I've watched, I feel like at least 10 or 15 videos like this of just things people did not know before moving to Germany or things that they wish they would have known. And I told myself I wouldn't make this video because I felt like all the topics had already been covered. Hello guys. So as I mentioned in my first Only in Germany video, I actually filmed one of these right after I got here. It was actually in January, but I felt like it was just too soon for me to make that video and that I shouldn't post it just because since living in Germany, I just learned so much more or had just more like, what is this moments. As I'm going through this old footage, some of it I didn't even include in my Only in Germany series. So as I'm watching it, it's just kind of funny, so we're gonna post it anyways, and yeah, let's kind of laugh at this together. I had been doing online research about Germany for a few months, so I felt like I had pretty much seen and heard it all. Little did I know, I was completely wrong. There are still quite a few and counting just experiences and just things that I would have never guessed go on in this country. That makes it sound bad. I just mean just customs and just the way things are. I would have never guessed. So the culture shock is very much real, and so we're making the video. The first thing I would have to say would be the towel rack things in the homes. In my flat, there's like it's a rack, but it's warm, so it's half towel rack, half heater. I'm not sure. I'm calling it a towel rack because I put it on Snapchat and I asked the people to, you know, just tell me what it was. Legit, my first morning in Germany, I woke up and I started to actually look around the place, and yeah, these things are they're just weird. Okay, so there are two different types of heaters in that flat. There were some that look like a towel rack, we're just gonna call it towel rack, and then there's some that look like your traditional radiator heater. I mean, look at this. I had no idea what it's for, but over the months I just use it as a kind of like a towel heater, as well as if I wash some clothes and I want them, you know, to dry faster and I don't want to use the dryer, then I put them on this. So half said it's a towel rack, half said it's a heater. So there are quite a few of these. There's one in the kitchen, there's one in the bathroom, which is pretty cool because then I can have warm towels. And it's just weird. I've never seen this thing in my life. I did not know that this was a thing in some German homes. I've been in a few other German homes in Germany, and I haven't seen any others with that type of rack. So I'm not sure just how popular they are. Usually I only see like the traditional radiator heater, so I'm not quite sure why I have the rack kinds. It's in apartments, so am I wrong? Do you guys have one of these? If you're German, have you seen these? Number two, there's not really any free-flowing air. Now, what I mean by free-flowing is that like an AC unit or central heating and air. Like we have that in pretty much every home, every residence, business. Is there even a German word for central heating and air? Does it exist, or no, not really? Oof. This was a hard pill to swallow. This in the US, and the places that don't, they at least have like a box AC, and so they put it like in the window, and you find those in like just really old homes. It is not popular anymore at all, but the ones that do not have central heating and air, they at least have that box. You will not rent or buy or go into a store that does not have AC. By AC I mean just central heating and air. That means that your air and your heat is blowing out of a vent at you, or you have that window box. And here, it's just like, no. I don't want to say it doesn't exist, because I heard that in some of the large businesses. So I was talking to the German who had visited New Mexico in August, and they thought it was just the coolest thing that on the wall you can actually set the temperature. So if you want like 67 degrees, or 75 degrees. I think 70 to 75 is the most popular. People will keep their homes around that temperature setting. And then at night, maybe like down in the 60s, but high 60s, so like 68, 69. But I didn't know that this was like a luxury. I honestly thought that European countries would have central heating and air like this, where you just set the temperature. And I was very, very, very wrong. And stores, they have it. But yeah, just definitely not in the homes. So what you have is, this is the heater. I don't know, on the dial it twists, and so there's a thing where it can be hot and then it has like a little cold symbol. So I'm not sure if this also acts as an AC. But just the weird thing about it is that no air blows out of it. I legit thought that the cold symbol meant that like it would somehow give off cool air. And honestly, my first month in the country, I never turned off the heaters. I never turned them even down. I would wear like my jacket indoors all the time. I would take it off to like make a video or something, but that's about it. For the most part, it just, I always felt cold. I was always cold. And I finally turned off the heat around, what? Probably the end of March. For the most part, I froze. I froze in Germany the entire time. And for some reason, Germans are really, really weirded out if you wear your jacket or coat indoors. I don't know what it is, but I've had this happen to me a few times where I was wearing like my jacket or my coat indoors, and people have actually commented like, you're not going to take that off, or that's so weird, why are you wearing that? And it's just like, because I'm cold. And so it was like an ongoing joke, and this has happened to me multiple times. Just they find it really, really weird. But it's like, I don't want to take it off just so I could sit there uncomfortable and cold. So I keep, sometimes I'll like keep my coat or my jacket on, and it really creeps out the Germans. So if you ever want to make them feel uncomfortable, just wear your jacket or coat indoors. Like, I can feel the heat and the warmth from it, but that's about it. I have noticed that all of the windows and the doors open. That is one thing that they're great about. Like, every single window opens. In the US, there are some windows that don't even have an open feature. Like, they're literally just windows. Others have been just painted over because no one opens the window. It's not really a thing. But here's like every single window, and even some of the doors have a feature where you can at least crack it or you can open it completely. And that is really cool. And now I know why, because they rely on that to cool the place down and just get, you know, fresh air in the house during the summer months. Now I'm interested to see just how hot does it get here. Right now it's January, and today it's pretty cold. It's actually snowing on and off outside, but yes. How does this no AC work in the summer? One lie that was told to me was that it doesn't get as hot in Germany as it does in the States. Now that I've been here for a few months, I've concluded that that is a lie. It can definitely get as hot. And honestly, I still haven't figured out really what people do to keep cool, other than just open up all of the windows. Most homes, you would think that there would be like a fan. For some reason, I don't see any ceiling fans. In most of the places I've been in. So I don't know if they have portable fans that they bust out. Maybe they have them hidden in the attic and they're gonna bring them out. I have no idea. I guess they, I don't know. But the warmer it gets, the more worried I feel. I foresee a lot of showers and deodorant this summer. Yeah, getting through my first summer in Europe without AC, showers and deodorant. And even so, if it is really, really hot, what do the people do if they're really hot? Do they just fan themselves, or do you buy a fan? How does this work? But buying a fan, like if the air is hot, then it's just you're fanning yourself with hot air. So I don't know. I'm very interested to see what the answer is to this. Using a debit card. So in the States, usually you do not have to sign. I think maybe you might have to sign something if you use like a credit card, but I was really shocked when it was my first day here and I was like starving. I had been driving all day and I pulled into a McDonald's drive-thru and I did my best to order fries. By did my best, I mean I ordered them in English. And when I pulled around to pay for them, I gave my card and then he also gave me a clipboard and a pen and I had to sign for that, what, €2 debit card purchase. I'm not sure how much it was, but it was just so weird. So I had to sign there and then I went shopping a few days later, same thing. I used my debit card, I had to sign. So it's like everywhere you go, if you use a card, you have to sign, even if it's a debit card. And then of course there are just outright places that do not take cards at all. I think you find those more often than not. When driving, their lights are set up different. So we have lights and they're really, really tall. And you can pretty much see them from wherever you are. If there's like a huge line of traffic, you can see them. Or if you are right there, the first person in that lane, you can see the traffic light to see when it goes red, yellow, green, whatnot. Theirs are not like that at all. They must have some that are hanging. I can't remember, but majority they'll have the hanging and then they'll have one right here. Like if you're about to turn left, it'll have it on the left hand side, or if you're trying to make a right hand turn, it'll have it right there. And it's like a mini light. And they have these set up because if you were the first car in that lane and you're waiting for the light to turn, this was seriously me on the first day here. I was like, I could not see the light. Like I was all up in my windshield trying to see when the light was going to turn green, not knowing that they just have a miniature one right there and you can just watch that one comfortably at eye level and know when to go. This might be really, really silly, but I don't know. For some reason, they're not set up to where it's easy to see. So if you're the first person, or maybe even the second person and you can't see, then you would just watch that one. I hope I explained that right. It's really weird. Back to driving. This isn't really on the countdown. I think I've stopped counting down, but the Autobahn. I thought this was like a special highway. In Florida, we have lots of special highways. Some will have tolls and you have to pay for them, and others are free. The Autobahn, I thought this was a special highway that you go to so you can go really, really fast. And that is not the case. If you're getting on the interstate or the highway, that pretty much is the Autobahn. That's it. I remember pulling out of some of the residential roads in Frankfurt and then I was, merging onto the highway, and before I knew it, I was on the Autobahn. So if you think the Autobahn is going to be this huge six lane going one way highway like you would see in the States, you got it completely wrong. These things are narrow. Their streets are really narrow. And if you think the highway is narrow, because sometimes it literally only had 2 lanes. Well, going one way at least. And then the exits, trying to figure out the exits, I don't think I saw a number on any of the exits. I don't think I saw a number at all. Now that I think of it, it was set up so odd. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that the Autobahn was a choice. If you wanted to take it, you could, or there would be maybe other highways you could take. Maybe those highways would be slower or something. I don't know what I thought. But no, a highway is the Autobahn. Direct translation. It is my goal, my personal goal, to not drive anymore while I am here. That didn't work out. Just nope, I don't want to drive anymore. My second goal is to not drive with a German, because that's another goal I did not achieve. I've driven with quite a few Germans and they drive insane. By insane, I mean just fast. They're flying. They take going fast to a whole nother level that I just wasn't ready for it. I wasn't ready for it. And if you think the highways are really small and narrow, the residential in some of these villages is tiny, 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 because there's cars parked on either side. And then somehow you have to try to fit your tiny car because the rental cars, the majority of them are small. So I rented a car in March and they gave me an SUV, like a full-size SUV. I have video of it, but I lost my other camera. It is just gone. Just $500 lost. I don't know, I was checking out a castle and I'm not sure, I must have slipped out of my pocket. I have no idea, but anyways, all of that footage is gone. So, a lot of footage is gone. But yeah, they gave me an SUV, and then I had to, at first I was excited. Like, yes, like this is more of what I'm used to, you know, the size and, you know, just the feeling of security, comfort, just how it handles everything. That lasted for like 10 minutes. And then I went on some of these roads and I was just like, never again, never, ever, ever again. If they ever try to give me another American type SUV, just as far as like just the size and everything, I'm just, no, I will not take it. You don't want like a full-size SUV on some of these streets if you're not used to it. If you're not used to these streets. Maybe if you live here and, you know, whatever, but no. And parking, you have to fit your little tiny car in between them, and it's just, oh. First time I rode a bus, I sat in one of the first seats because I don't know why. But I was pretty much right up there at the front, and watching the bus driver navigate through these tiny winding streets was terrifying. He did an awesome job, but I was about to have a heart attack. Apparently they're really good drivers, but they are fat. I'm definitely a granny driver. Bringing it back to the supermarkets, my first time at the grocery store, I was under the impression that I would be in and out. I like to get my groceries quickly and go back home. But all of the brands, they don't have any of our brands at all. It was really odd, and everything has a new name. Of course, a name that I don't know because I'm not fluent in German, but just simple things like, okay, what do you think this is? That is baking powder. And it's not like our baking powder at all. It's actually in packets. Don't get me started on the measuring cups because it's in a completely different metric system. The little packets, I was like, how will I know how much to use? I'm gonna start cooking like a pro. Just dash this, dash of that. And I don't know why it's in a packet. I really don't. I'm very confused. Hence why I've not used it yet. I still have not used that. I don't think I'll do any baking while I'm here. Another thing I was not ready for was the staring. Like, I had heard, okay, because I had watched someone else's video that, you know, Germans are known for staring, and they said it like it was just a known fact. Now, we don't really talk about Germans and what they do. I didn't really know a lot about Germans, so if you would have asked me to describe a thing that Germans do, I would be at a loss. Yeah, I didn't know any German stereotypes really. I would have never guessed that this was one. I mean, my first thought would not be, oh, they stare, but they do. So Wanted Adventure posted this video. Thank you guys for recommending her because my eyes have just been really opened and my mind has been broadened. But yeah, she was talking about the whole German staring thing, and I got to read all the comments, not just from Germans, but just from other people from other countries who noticed this as well. And read those comments. Go now, leave this video, go read those comments. It was really good. It got really, really good. It was very insightful, and I like how people, just other Europeans, kind of put in their 2 cents on the entire issue. One thing I noticed is that it really isn't just Germany who's more open to staring. I've also noticed it in like London and just, I guess you could just say just throughout England kind of. So I definitely don't think it's just Germany. I'm uncomfortable by it, that staring at people is just, it's common. And so a couple of times things would happen and I could feel stares, but I didn't think too much of it because maybe I had done something wrong. Like, okay, one time I was at the bus stop and there's like a bus stop on this side of the road, and then there's what looks like another bus stop on this side of the road, and really it's like that green sign, and it has like a map, and then it has another sign saying that this is whatever Strasse or stop or whatever. And so I wasn't sure which side was I supposed to be on. The other side had a whole little seating area, but this one, it kind of looked like a mini bus stop. So I was trying to figure it out. And of course, right when I'm trying to figure it out, a bus pulls up and they're on that side. So I'm like, oh no. So of course I didn't just run across the street because you know that is in bad practice. If you've been nerding out to videos about Germany, then you would know just to use the crosswalks because jaywalking is not cool here, apparently. So I went to find the crosswalk, and at this time I got really lucky because these buses are fast. Like they're there and then they're gone, but they had like a lot of people getting off and coming on. So anyways, I was the chick trying to run across the street and then trying to read the bus just to make sure that it's going to the place that I needed. And so yeah, I was like the last person on, and thankfully he did not leave without me. But by the time I got to sit down, there's only one chair open, and of course it was the one in the front that's facing everyone else. So everyone's facing this way, and then of course I had to sit in that one because I could not find any others open, and so I could just feel eyes, and I was really embarrassed because they saw me standing on that side of the road and then run over to this side of the road once I saw the bus get there, and then of course they saw me staring up at the bus, and I don't know what they were thinking, but I just... And this is really awkward because there was someone sitting next to me, but I just kind of looked out the window the whole time. I did not make eye contact with a single person because we don't look at people like that and stare at people. Like, we don't really care what they're doing or what they look like half the time. One thing you will notice in the US is, especially if you're at like a restaurant and the people have kids or something like that, or you're at a business and they have kids and the kids are staring at you, the parent will actually get upset at the child, and some will even threaten to get spanked. I've been one of those kids. But yeah, the parent will get onto the child for staring, and like in their serious tone, like,
stop staring. That is not right.
It is not cool to stare, and we were taught from a very young age not to stare. And if you're still staring, your parents might give you an ultimatum. It's just not accepted. So to see all of these Germans, some of them were like, I don't know what you mean. I've never noticed this, but why would they notice? They live here. And then some were like, oh yeah, I mean, I do stare at people, but sometimes I'm just staring off into the distance and thinking about my shopping list. Like, they're not really thinking anything. And then others were honest and they're like, well, I was thinking, who are they? What are they doing here? I mean, it's pretty easy for them to tell that this person is not from here. So instead, they're just going to stare and wonder where you are from, and yeah, what are you doing here? So yeah, staring is a thing. And just yesterday, I was at the supermarket, and what was I searching for? I was searching for some spinach, which their spinach looks different than ours, guys. Their spinach is different, but it's delicious though. Delicious. But I was looking for some spinach, and then there was a lady, and no one was around her. This is like the entrance of the supermarket, and then you have to walk through this like little gate area, kind of like you would if you're going on like a roller coaster ride. It's kind of cute. But anyways, she was kind of standing by the carts, but there was no one around her, and I wasn't really sure why she was standing there, but she was just full on her body, just looking in my direction. So I thought it was kind of odd, and of course I was taking my time because I had to find spinach. I kept on noticing that she was not moving, like she was just, you know, gazing pretty hard in my direction. And so of course, is there someone behind me? No, there's no one behind me. She's literally just staring at me, and so it made me feel really awkward. I wasn't quite sure why she was staring, and the look on her face, it was not a smile, it was not a grimace, it was just... And she was an older woman. So yeah, that ended kind of abruptly. My Wi-Fi to upload these things, it takes forever. Like for a 6-minute video, like sometimes 7 to 8 hours, it's just really bad right now. And yes, hopefully next month I will get some faster Wi-Fi. I'm going to upload this in parts, but hope you guys like that. Watching this is just so cringeworthy, like there's so much I did not know.